It's one of Sacramento's biggest annual sporting events. The California International Marathon is taking place in the capital city tomorrow. Thousands of runners will take to the streets for this race, also known as the fastest course in the West. Well, thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Cecil Hannibal, with thousands from not only across the country, but from around the world flocking to Sacramento for that race. KCRA 3's Erin Heft joined them in their preparation ahead of tomorrow's 41st annual California International Marathon.
I love my job and I love this day because there is so much energy.
The room abuzz as the day before the California International Marathon has officially arrived.
There are people that are here just to finish. There are people hoping for a PR. There's Olympic hopefuls. There are Olympians here.
We've been meeting up at marathons, outside of marathons. We've just become, we call ourselves the 26.2 besties.
I'm looking forward to the scenery, the net downhill, and just experiencing a race in a different area than I've been before.
It's been a joyride. It's been the pleasure of my life, really.
And I absolutely love the crowd, the support, the course.
All walks of life, all here for their own reasons. Here for her 5th CIM, this year has taken on an even larger meaning for Laura Didier.
I qualified for Boston here in 2015. My son Zach was at the finish line. I have a great picture of us at the finish line. He was very proud. He was a runner himself.
Her family making national headlines several years ago after her son, Zach Didier, died from fentanyl.
I lost my son Zach in 2020. He was only 17 years old. He was a senior at Whitney High School when a counterfeit pill killed him in 2020. And so that's what brought me to this work.
Spreading awareness, Laura alone reaching over 100,000 children and parents, educating others on the dangers that took her son's life.
So this is our first year being invited to partner with CIM to raise money for our mission, because when we go to schools, we do not charge schools.
Their group, Song for Charlie, running to raise money to provide even more outreach in the hope to spare lives. A room full of people with a variety of meaning behind each step they'll take in their goal of reaching 26.2. In Sacramento, Erin Heft, KCRA 3 News.
There's a lot of excitement right now in the capital city. This is a look at the first half of the course. The marathon runs from Folsom to Sacramento, starting at 7 Sunday morning, so an early start. This is a look at the second half, and signs are already posted at the nearly 40 affected intersections along the route. But the first road closures related to the marathon are already in effect. This is a look at the closures in the downtown area. Capitol Mall between 8th and 9th Streets, 8th and 9th Street between N and L Streets, and 10th Street between N and L Streets will be closed through 5 p.m. Sunday. CIM is also partnering with the Waze app for live road closure information and how to get around while avoiding runners. You can also scan the QR code on your screen to find a full list of road closures on our website. And we will have live coverage from the starting line tomorrow morning on the KCRA 3 News at 7 a.m.
Where the news comes first. This is KCRA 3 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Leticia Ordaz. It's the 41st annual California International Marathon. It's about to get underway. You can see all of those racers. So much anticipation for today. More than 15,000 runners from all over the world are in Sacramento County for the California International Marathon. Many are overcoming challenges, are running their very first marathon. Others have been racing for years. Let's go now to Erin Heft, live from the scene where the runners are taking off. Erin, good morning.
And you are seeing those elite runners taking off. That is the first leg of these runners every single year. 10,000 marathoners hitting the course right now in Folsom. They will make their way all the way to the California State Capitol, 26.2 miles ahead of them. And really the most impressive thing about this is, yes, they look like runners, but every single one of them is on a personal mission, proving to themselves that something like this is possible. If you haven't done this yourself, this is a mental challenge above a physical challenge. So a couple of the numbers that you need to be aware of: 10,000 runners, 1,000 relay racers, 15,000 bananas making all of this in part possible. And all 50 states are represented and 41 countries. Is that not incredibly impressive? For 41 years of history, of CIM, California International Marathon, starting in Folsom, trucking all the way to the California State Capitol. You're taking a live look right now as just the beginning has started, because they take legs and legs and legs. Those corrals absolutely full. We will bring you continued coverage throughout the morning. Sending it back to you, Leticia.
And Erin, quickly, it's not just the runners out there. We have so many volunteers making this happen. Tell me a little bit more about the effort with the volunteers who are amazing year after year.
Who we're looking at now.
So 75,000 spectators, 4,000 volunteers, 5 miles of fencing, which I think the 5 miles of fencing is the impressive part, because 26.2, you still corral all of these people without fencing, but yes, it takes a lot of hands to make all of this possible. People passing out water on the course, medical professionals, people who put this on with the Runners Association. It takes a lot of effort to make this possible. And again, we are in the last 10 years before this is a 50-year tradition here in our area, and it has brought so much funding to the area, millions of dollars just for this weekend, and people visiting and being here for this race. A lot of hands on deck for such a big event.
Such a festive event, too. You get to the halfway point and there's a big party. I know you're going to be heading to the halfway point as well. Tell me a little bit more about the atmosphere once they get to the halfway point.
So I can speak from personal experience. The halfway point is just a godsend. I would say thousands of people standing on Manzanita, greeting people at the 13.1 mile halfway point, and giving just the most amazing support. If you are along the course in any way today, maybe you're one of those poor cars stopped just waiting to take your turn to get through runners or try to work around this, give them some support, because every mile along this course has different challenges for different runners. Maybe it's the beginning, maybe it's the middle, maybe it's that wall when you hit the 20-mile mark, but try to give as much support as you can. That halfway point, a great opportunity to do that, and I will be trying to navigate around these 10,000 runners to get you coverage from the halfway point closer to the 8 o'clock hour. Leticia?
Thank you so much, Erin. We see a lot of the runners have shed their layers because it's going to get hot out there as they are running today, just internally as they're trying to make it to the finish line. For more on our forecast for this race day, let's send it over now to Kelly Curran. Kelly.
Yeah, and we are dealing with quite a bit of patchy fog yet again this morning.
Two big events taking over the streets this weekend in Sacramento County and in Stockton. Thousands of runners made their trek from Folsom to Sacramento in the California International Marathon, and in Stockton, a celebration of the Catholic faith. Starting out with the sea of runners and walkers competing in the marathon known as the fastest course in the West, including some of our KCRA 3 news crew. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Cecil Hannibal.
And I'm Andrea Flores. The 26.2-mile race went from the foothills of Folsom all the way to the state capitol, all with that starting bell.
5, 4, 3, runners to your mark. And there we go. It is the official.
And they were off, 10,000 runners taking off in Folsom. And then at the state capitol, the top finishers, the top man and woman finishers, shattering course records today. KCRA 3's Erin Heft brings us the sights from start to finish.
Runners to your mark.
Elite athletes, Olympic hopefuls, those who want to be Boston bound, first timers, and everyone in between hitting the pavement. 26.2 miles lying ahead at the 41st California International Marathon, taking off as the sun rose over Folsom. Cut to the halfway mark. 13.1 already underneath their feet, pacing, according to race officials, at record-breaking times. The first male, female, non-binary, and para-athlete leaders shot put off to the second half, on their way to the picture-perfect California State Capitol finish. Known as the fastest course in the West, with a net downhill. In theory, it should give those legs a miniature break. This race famed for many reasons. 10,000 marathoners, 1,000 relay racers, 4,000 volunteers, and 75,000 of some of the loudest spectators among racing in the U.S. Not just an athletic event, but an economic boom for the region. officials estimating a $15 million economic impact to Greater Sacramento just over this weekend. Each step proving this feat is more than a race. For so many, it's a triumph.
Nothing is impossible. Go for it. Try it. Let me be a walking testimony of that. I shouldn't be here. And I did something I've always wanted to do. God is good.
In previous coverage, we introduced you to Tommaso Wilkins, a 24-year-old cancer survivor, completing this, his first full marathon without major internal organs, including his stomach, after surviving a rare diagnosis.
I signed up in May after my 24th birthday, and I was like, I need to chase something. I need a goal. I need something that scares me, and it scared me so much. It scared me all the way up until the start line, and then I had to. Once the gun went off, it was like, no quitting now.
I thought he was a crazy man, but his faith is so strong, and he just makes me stronger every day. He's an amazing person, can give everybody inspiration. You can't do something, you just put your mind to it. Doesn't matter what your physical ailments are, you can just power through it. He is an example of that. I'm very proud.
An inspiration with all 50 states represented and 41 countries. Here for the 41st annual California International Marathon. Erin Heft, KCRA 3 News.
Just amazing. A unique piece to the California International Marathon comes right at the starting line.
As runners shed those layers, those outer layers, volunteers with the group Heart were there to collect donations for the homeless. Those sweatpants and sweatshirts on the ground end up going into bags for those staying in a shelter this winter.
We fill up our minivan, I go home and I clean it all, and then we bring it over to Helping Hands, which is a great ministry that provides it directly to the homeless people when they need it.
How awesome is that? The group has been doing this for the past 5 years.
And members of the KCRA 3 News team were on the track as well. Here they are, producer Steve Mellish, meteorologist Heather Waldman, morning anchor Deirdre Fitzpatrick, and reporter Leanne Denyer. And we were able to get some of that video of the run with Heather, Leanne, and Deirdre. You can see Deirdre and Heather together on the left, and this is at the O'Sullivan Bridge after mile 21. Steve and Heather partnered up to each run half the course. This was Deirdre's 23rd time running the California International Marathon and Leanne's first. So we know they all trained so hard for this, and we congratulate them here, part of our KCRA 3 family.
They're inspiring me to get up and get out there. I have to start walking first, though. All right, to our weather now with this clip from the marathon showing leaves raining down in Sacramento. Gorgeous view. Gotta love fall this time of year. We can expect some chillier temperatures overnight. Let's check in with our meteorologist, Dirk Verdorn.
Yeah, that's an interesting. It's snowing leaves is what we had there this morning. That was a lovely shot there. Conditions. Much clearer. Air quality much better tonight. What we're looking at here is from Sacramento.
Today, thousands of runners took part in the California International Marathon. The 26.2-mile race started in the foothills of Folsom and ended at the state capitol. 10,000 runners competed in the marathon, known as the fastest course in the West. All states were represented, plus 41 countries. There were 75,000 spectators and 4,000 volunteers to make it all possible. And records were shattered for both the men and women's course times. Sagai Welds-Labanos, who competes internationally as an asylum athlete, was the top finisher for the men. He finished in 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 3 seconds, breaking a course record by nearly 3 minutes. And on the women's side, Callie Hauger-Thackeray of Great Britain finished first with a time of 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 28 seconds, beating the course record set last year. We caught up with both of them after the race.
It's good training and group prepare, and then I've in the downhill training, and then house competition is the same. It's good.
I appreciated the downhills when they came. The uphills are sneaky, and then I just try to roll with the downs and not use too much energy.
Both winners are taking home $15,000 in prize money, plus $5,000 bonuses for breaking the course records.
We are seeing the stories of inspiration, right? The marathon was also a triumph for several runners. Here's when Tommaso Wilkins crossed the finish line. It was an emotional moment for the 24-year-old cancer survivor. He completed his first full marathon without major internal organs, including his stomach. His family was there at the finish line cheering him on. We caught up with him after the race.
This was the goal for this year. This was the one thing I wanted to prove to myself and to everyone that I could do. And now we're here.
We had to pump him up along the way a few times, give him a little pat on his back, tell him he's got it, but it's all in his mind. He's a strong man. And I hope it brings inspiration to a lot of people in this world who are struggling with anything, because if he can do it, then anybody can.
Inspiring words from Mom. Tommaso crossed the finish line in 4 hours, 21 minutes, and 37 seconds. That's a pace of just under 10 minutes per mile.
Yeah, way to go. A unique piece to the California International Marathon comes right at the starting line. As runners shed those outer layers, volunteers with the group Heart were there to collect donations for the homeless. Those sweatpants and sweatshirts on the ground end up going into bags for people staying at a shelter this winter.
We fill up our minivan, I go home and I clean it all, and then we bring it over to Helping Hands, which is a great ministry that provides it directly to the homeless people when they need it.
The group has been doing this for the past 5 years.
Members of the KCRA 3 News team were on the track as well. Producer Steve Mellish, meteorologist Heather Waldman, morning anchor Deirdre Fitzpatrick, and reporter Leanne Dinier. And we were able to get some of the video of that run with Heather, Leanne, and Deirdre. You can see Deirdre and Heather are together on the left. This is at O'Sullivan Bridge after mile 21. Steve and Heather partnered up to each run half the course. This was Deirdre's 23rd time running the California International Marathon and Leanne's first. So congrats to all of the runners.
Yeah, we're so proud of our runners here at KCRA 3. Way to go, guys.